Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to discuss about the multiple choice questions in IELTS listening, which is considered to be one of the most difficult type of question. So when you're doing the multiple choice questions, you first write the keywords from the questions and then play the audio. Okay. And when we are doing the real exam demo, then at that point, I'm going to show you how you can make the most of the time during the examination to write the keywords. And this is because when the question statement and the answer statements of the multiple choice questions are really long, it is difficult for you to listen and read at the same time. That is why writing the keywords from the question is going to help you. Okay. So when practicing, you have to do it in the same fashion, which means before you start playing the audio, you write down all the keywords from the question, what the question is asking, and then just make it as short as possible, just enough that it makes sense. Okay. And it doesn't lose its meaning, what is being asked. And then play the audio and write down the main points, whatever is being asked. And then second type of activity that you can do is that listen. So this will be the second part of the activity. Once you finish the first part, once you've answered the questions, then you can listen and read the transcript at the same time, because that will help you develop your ear to recognize words when you're listening to a conversation. Okay, so let me give you an example. One of the best resources I can share with you is esllab, and it has got different exercises for you, especially for multiple choice. Okay, I would say that this is one of the best resources you can get for practicing your multiple choice questions. Okay, so it has different levels. For example, you have easy test, intermediate, as well as advanced. I recommend, depending on what level of English you are at that point, you can choose what you like. So there are different topics. One of the other things I like about it, there are different topics available. So you have topics related to school, a fun day, and then apartment, renting of apartment, camping, clothing styles. So another benefit you're going to get from this is that your subject specific vocabulary will improve. So let me give you a demo. So if you click on a day at school, you'll notice that it gives you pre-listening exercises, and this actually helps you in your reading as well, because it gives you some of the questions like describe a normal school day describe a normal school day in the life of a student in your country, including hours, class, subjects, meals, rules, dress, and extracurricular activities. Okay, and what options are there in your country to take online classes through distance learning, even for children. Okay, so by answering these questions, you will get more confident about answering similar type of questions in the exam. Okay, it also gives you some of the idioms that are going to be used in this listening audio, right? Like crack the books, cut class. So it tells you what the meaning of it, so you can save time in looking for that information. It's right here. And then it also gives you a sentence, how you can use it. And of course, these idioms will also be used in the audio as well, so you can see how it's being used. All right. And then you play the audio.
Hello, today I'm interviewing Josh.
Right. You play the audio, and then these are your multiple choice questions. You can choose one of them. You can see that it tells you this is incorrect and this one is correct, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be like 1 minute, 32 seconds. So most of the audio, I would say, are usually between 1.5 to 2, or if you go advanced, then it'll be 3 minutes as well. And it's most appropriate because even in IELTS exam, the audio for different sections are going to be mostly about 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, etc. So it kind of gives you that exam environment, right? So you can listen to the audio and then you can answer the question. Now, how it would help you improve on your multiple choice question. What you do is, before playing the audio, you go to the questions and look at the keyword. For example, this one, how does Joshua go to school in Japan? You can write how Joshua go to school Japan. That's it. Okay, make it as short as possible, as long as it's not lost its meaning or the meaning has not changed. Okay. Write it down on a piece of paper and then leave some space, and then write the second one, leave some space, third one, fourth one, and so on. I think there are 5 questions mostly. Once you do that, then you play the audio and keep listening. You don't have to write everything that the audio is saying, okay? As part of the exercise of solving the MCQs, you just keep listening the moment they talk about Joshua going to the school, okay? The moment they speak about Joshua going to the school, that's the time you start moving your pen, okay? And you don't have to write everything. You only have to write the keywords, right? And then keep listening. Keep an eye on the second and third question as well, because there are a lot of times the audio has moved ahead and probably we missed when he said Joshua go to school, and then audio is probably on the third question. So keep an eye on the other questions as well, as in when you are listening and writing, okay? So it's like multitasking. So I know it is said that many people are not good at multitasking, but here is where we need to improvise on those skills. So then once you have written down the keywords, or the conversation, just the key part of the conversation for each of these questions, once your audio finishes, then look at your notes, what you've written, and go to each question and pick up the most apt option. Okay, so that's how you solve that, right? Now, this is going to be helpful for when you are giving the paper-based exam, okay? And I highly encourage that you give the paper-based exam, especially for those people who are not comfortable with the multiple choice question. If you're giving the computer-based exam, then I would say that you wouldn't really have time to write. All you have to do is just highlight the keywords, right? It is rather more time consuming to highlight the keywords on the computer-based exam compared to written-based. Why? Because in computer, you have to first go to that, select that, right-click, then select it. That's when it gets highlighted. However, in the paper-based exam, all you have to do is just take a pencil and just underline. That's how fast it's going to be, right? I think many students find pen and paper based exam better in that regards, while the others are comfortable with the computer based. So depending on your comfort level, you can choose the one you like. Okay. So once you finish this exercise, what you need to do is do the second part of the exercise, which we discussed, which is forget about the questions, forget about the answer, just write. Okay. Let the audio play for 1 minute, 32 seconds, or however long it is, and then just write the key points. Okay, that is to improve your speed of writing, all right? And then don't just write it once and then forget about it, because that's not going to help you improve. You write it once, let the audio play, and while it's playing, you write down the key points. Think about it, that what could be the possible questions. Don't look at the questions. Like maybe do this with a different audio, because you would have probably known what the questions are going to be like. So do it with the different audio. Okay, there are many examples here. As you can see, a lot of them for you to practice. I don't think you're going to run out of any of these practice material, because they are definitely sufficient for you to practice. Okay, so for the second audio, just listen and write the key points, whatever you think that they could ask, or possibly you think that is the key point. If they're just blabbering, just talking, anything that you feel is not going to be important, don't write that, don't waste your time, but write as important points as possible. Okay, so in the first round, do that, and in the second round, write it again. Why I want you to do that is because see how you can improvise compared to the previous instance of you listening and writing it, compared to the previous instance of you doing that exercise. Okay, so look for improvements like, can you shorten the words? For example, if the word is heavy, then you might want to write HVY, right? If it's before, then you can write the letter B and then number 4. Just like how we text, our text messaging language, right? We write it as short as possible. So that's going to help you, because it's going to help you save time, as you don't have to write the entire word. You can make it short. Some people are also good at doing the drawing. Like, for example, in IELTS exam, what they do is they say something and then they change the answer by saying but, all right? So the moment you hear but, you write whatever they said and you do a check mark, so that when you come back in the last 10 minutes of your examination, when you have to copy the answers on your answer sheet, at that point it'll be easy for you to directly go to that point and save your time that you can then utilize for other questions, right? So do some marking. So I'm going to show you in the real exam demo that we're going to practice. I'm going to show you all of that. Okay. So 2 exercises. First is make notes of the keywords of the question for all of them, and then play the audio and write down the key points from the conversation. And then after that, you look at your notes and then solve it. Second one is maybe take another audio clip, play it and write the entire conversation, especially where you think are the most important point of the conversation. Okay. And keep it short, which means just probably use the verb, make a note of the verb, the noun, the action that is being taken, any feeling, etc. All right. The next exercise you can do, for which I find this website really helpful, is the transcript. Okay. So this has a transcript. So once you're done with all of that, again, you can go back and play the audio and also follow along this transcript. What this is going to do is this will prepare your brain to recognize those words. It will help you understand how each of the words are pronounced, especially for the non-native speakers. Many of us feel that our pronunciation is correct. However, it may not be accepted on an international level. So we need to get more accustomed to listen to the native speakers. And one way of doing that is by listening and reading at the same time. This exercise is going to be super helpful, right? So another way it's going to help you is when you are doing your fill in the blanks or any type of question, you're supposed to follow the conversation, right? In order for you to answer the questions effectively, you need to follow the conversation. So by playing the conversation and reading it at the same time, you're actually following around. So try to keep a cursor here and just follow along, because in the examination, if you're giving computer based, then you probably use a cursor, but if you're giving paper based, then you'll use a pencil. The idea is to follow along the conversation. Okay. So once you've done that, so that's great. So basically what you're doing is you're making the most of the listening activity. You're playing the same audio, but in different ways. So you're kind of listening that audio at least twice. Okay. Because of which you are able to grasp more. Okay. And at the same time, if you have given incorrect answer in the first exercise, then make sure to go back and listen and see what you've missed. All right. Ask yourself what you could have done better so that you would have got the correct answer. What is the information you did not write because of which you couldn't answer this question? Okay. One more tip I would like to give you is that there are a lot of times you're not going to be able to capture everything and you're going to miss, which is okay. Okay. Important part is that you follow the conversation while you're writing. Okay. If you miss a sentence, forget about it. It's okay. Just move on, right? In attempt of making sure everything is captured, you may tend to miss on to the important information. So let's say, for example, he talks about Joshua go to school and you're still writing and you realize that you were a little slow and he's already reached this point. You have to leave whatever you're writing or make it just make it short as possible and move on. Because if you don't move on, you're going to, you're going to probably miss the rest of the questions as well. You would have lost track of the audio. And then in attempt of ensuring you get the first one right, you're going to lose everything else. So tell me which one is better, getting 4 right out of 5 or getting 1 right out of 5? The former, right? Absolutely. So these are some of the tactics, these are some of the strategies you need to keep in mind when you are giving the exam, because in the exam, the audio is not going to stop. It's going to continue. So you have to prepare it accordingly. You have to prepare in a way that you are giving the exam. All right. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how to solve the MCQs in the real world situation into our exam demo very soon in the upcoming videos. All right. So there's more to it. MCQs is one of my favorite. I know many students struggle in it, and we're going to ensure we crack it. Okay then.